Welcome to another episode of Entrepreneurs in Fuego. With me, I have David Doederlin.
Yes. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, man.
Good.
We are celebrating the journey of entrepreneurs, incredible entrepreneurs, one digital footprint at a time. 18.8 clients. I gotta admit something, man. We're gonna talk about your salon and everything else, but you have the greatest concept for man in the world.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Because I tell people very respectfully, I'm worse than a girl, man, because I have been doing my nails since 1985.
Mm-hmm.
Manicure, pedicure on a weekly basis. And when it wasn't fashionable. And in fact, I used to go in and it was very embarrassing, if you will, to go in there.
Right.
And still, we have to change attitudes. But you own a salon, 18.8, which is just a phenomenal place, that now is trying to change attitudes, if you will, about how we groom ourselves.
Absolutely. So what 18.8 does for men is it gives men a place to go of their own that not only provides the barber services such as barbers, nice cuts and shaves, but we also provide those salon services that you would normally find at women's salons, such as manicures, pedicures, facials, and waxing. But what we hear from a lot of our guests, and one of the reasons that the concept was created in the first place, is they don't necessarily feel comfortable going to their wives' or their girlfriend's salon. So we give them a place of their own so they can come and we can provide all these services for men, because times are changing. Men are much more interested in grooming themselves beyond just the basic haircut today. And so what we like to say, this is one of the direct mailers that we do, is
I love it.
basically
awesome.
You wouldn't go through her purse, so why her salon?
Exactly, and that is perfect, and that is really the essence of the evolution, if you will, that we're going through, right? Because, oh, by the way, I was so conscious that you were coming in. I got my hair did yesterday.
Looks good.
Right next. There's not much to it, so but that's the thing. Already, we have to change. We have to be able to change our attitudes toward our own grooming, our own well-being, if you our own health, that enabled us to use the type of manicure salon, a pedicure type of facility that you have on a more frequent basis.
Right.
I mean, there's nothing better than a manicure and pedicure. You feel so
Oh no, every man needs
or
a
a shave.
pedicure. I mean, if
Or
you
a
take
shave.
a look, right?
Oh.
Exactly. Take a look at a typical man's feet. They really need. Every man
Yes.
needs a pedicure, and we do
Yes.
have a dedicated pedicure chair for that. It's a spa pedicure chair, and a lot of men are embarrassed about the amount of hair they have on their backs, but they don't necessarily want to go to their women's salon for a back wax. We provide that as well. In fact, we have a private consultation room that we use for back waxing services, and it's become very popular.
I'm gonna make a confession. This is about maybe 15 years ago. I told my ex-wife, I said, look, I think that there is a niche there. If we were to open up a salon for men that does this, and we just put ESPN, 24/7, and we just write all this, football games, everything else, and manicure and pedicure for men with a salon, I think it would be pretty successful. This was about 15, 18 years ago. But there you are, 18.8, man. What a great concept. What a great
Yeah, there are different places that will provide maybe a cut and a shave plus a facial, a cut and shave plus maybe manicure, but as far as I know, we're the only salon in Phoenix that provides everything under one roof.
You are.
And again, it's in Scottsdale, and so where we're situated at the southeast corner of Pinnacle Peak and Scottsdale Road, please come visit us, is a lot of the men, this is exactly what they've been looking for.
It is. It is. Now, of course, I do my manicures and pedicures every week. Okay, maybe sometimes I miss it every 2 weeks, but it's religiously bam, 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 bam. And again, I've been doing it for years and years and years. What is it going to take, in your view? What is it going to take to change attitudes of other men to get this thing done for their partners, for their girlfriends, for their wives, for their partners? How are we going to change that attitude? Because, like you said, there's nothing worse in the world than looking at men's feet and they're just gross.
Right. So a lot of it has to do with raising awareness. And so the approach that we took out of the gates to raise awareness is we ran 3 rounds of direct mailers, 10,000 mailers, with basically this message to make people understand that this is why have I been always doing this, and I have a place I can go otherwise. So that's for people that were already doing manicures. But when people come in and ask just for the price of a cut, we make sure we make them aware of everything else that we do. And so that way, it's as much about awareness as anything. And once people come in and experience our services, then we get the word of mouth going, which really increases our sphere of influence in terms of marketing. And so that's one of the ways to do it. Some men are just never going to want to get manicures or pedicures, but there are a lot that have just been waiting for this. And so a lot of it has to do with how you market and position yourself in the marketplace and the value that you provide.
You know, David, I never got it. I mean, we get our haircuts every so often, every 3 weeks, or however long you do it.
Mm-hmm.
We shave. Some of us, you know, we get our barber shave. Like I said again, I mean, there's nothing better than a barber shave. I mean, there's the greatest thing in the world. Why not continue the grooming south? You know, your hands, your face. Why not do that? And I just never understood why.
Right, because it's not something that has necessarily been top of mind for a lot of people. And you've been talking with lots of entrepreneurs, and I think somebody mentioned earlier that a lot of people get into what they do as a hobby. Okay.
Right.
I don't have a background in this. My background is marketing analytics, customer analytics. But I saw an opportunity that is an underserved market.
It is.
And so a lot of people get into, say, barbering because they love to cut hair. A lot of people get into aesthetics because they like to work with nails. But when you bring it all together and treat this as a business and understand there's an underserved need here, that's when you're able to really bring it all together. So this definitely is not a hobby. This is a business. We have a great value proposition, and it's really been working out well so far.
How many of the 18-8s are here in Arizona, and are you planning to expand?
So I bought the territory rights to 3 stores, most of North Phoenix, Scottsdale, Fountain Hills, Cave Creek, downtown Phoenix. And there's another franchisee in downtown Scottsdale who's opening a 2nd location in Chandler. Between the 2 of us, we'll have 6 locations in 3 years. This is just my first location. I'm scouting a 2nd location right now, hopefully in the Camelback Central area.
Perfect area.
And if we can get that going, then I think we'll be doing really
perfect area, because you'll be my neighbor, man.
Good.
No, this is truly a great concept. The biggest challenge in opening this thing up, of course, we talked a little bit about the message that you need to send out and kind of just changing people's attitudes, and that's a very difficult message to send. And you've done it through a little bit of humor and kind of presenting the traditional. We used to do this, why continue doing it and changing that type of attitude? But what is, in your experience so far, what other challenges have you found in pursuing this particular business?
Well, overall, the challenges have really been, again, like we talked about before, convincing customers that this is something different that they should try. Because we have a lot of people say, well, that's just too expensive, I will never do that. And so it's the mindset as much as anything. I think the demand is there, but a lot of times it's tapping into that latent demand that's always going to be a challenge. Of course, that's what marketing is all about, bringing awareness up for some unmet need. And so I think that's always going to be the biggest challenge. Right. And the other challenge is going to be, I've learned a lot about this industry in terms of stylists and barbers. You know, it's tough to keep them happy. You know, people have told me early on that, well, they're a different breed, and I'm finding that out. But it's working out well so far. If you treat your employees well, they will perform for you. And so that's a big challenge as well.
Summer months are probably a little bit of a slower month.
Yeah,
how do you handle that?
So what we're doing now for the summer months is really slowed down right at Memorial Day. I'd expected to flatten out. It's dropped a little bit, but what we're doing is we just executed a Groupon campaign for the first time, because that will kind of broaden the awareness of what we have to offer at a really good price. And so when a customer sees a Groupon up to 52% off these services, they're more likely to try us. And so really what we're going to do is we're going to ratchet up our marketing budget for the summer, and it's going to be more promotional than it has been in the past, because a lot of what we did early on was brand building, and now it's going to be promotional to get us through the summer. I'm also working with a lot of the different tenants in our shopping center to do some co-marketing. For example, my next door neighbor is Egg and Joe. I just bought $50 worth of coffee with cards so that when people come in and get coffee, they don't have to pay for it, but Egg and Joe will give them a card that says,
that's cool.
Coffee is on our neighbor.
Oh, that's cool.
So I'm doing a lot of little different things like that to kind of keep demand up.
there was a term back in the 80s and actually in the early 90s for people like you and me that we started taking care of ourselves and being aware of our grooming and getting our nails done and getting our feet done and everything else. They used to call us metrosexuals. You remember that? I think you go back that far.
Certainly. Absolutely.
It like a different breed, like a different species.
It's just becoming more and more common, though, because
Why not?
men are far more interested now than even 10 or 15 years ago in how they look, how they feel, right? They're more interested in grooming. They want to look and feel their best all the time, and it's not necessarily just enough to get a nice cut. They want to make sure their nails look great for the interview.
Yes.
They want to make sure their feet feel great for their hike, you name it, and that's really what we try to provide for them. We want to make sure that men are able to look and feel and perform the best.
Nothing like investing in yourself. This is where you start. We spend money on education, we spend money on coffee and stupid things. I mean, tens of thousands of dollars on stupid things. Please spend a little bit on your own, on yourself, right? Grooming yourself.
I
If
agree.
not for
That's the way
yourself,
to
for
go.
your partner, they'll love you.
Right.
You're too much, man.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
Nothing like a good shave. Oh,
Come on, we can take care of you today.
oh. Perfect. With that, thank you, man. Appreciate it. We're out.